Well, no wonder King Herod didn't find him. This whole situation is nothing like we would have expected it. But oh, how delightful it has all turned out to be. As a member of the Magi, I have spent my life studying the stars. Of course, since the days of the Babylonian exile, we were told that the people of Israel believed that their God would send a great savior to them one day to save them. The Jewish people, they are so very optimistic. Their hope never made sense to me. But of course, it was their story, not ours. Then my colleagues, suddenly we saw a magnificent star in the sky. Believe me when I tell you that many of my ancestors had hoped that they would be able to see something as magnificent as this. We knew we had to come this way to see the king that had likely been born after all. Just like the Israelites said, we did what was only logical. We went to the king's palace, to King Herod. We were not without trepidation, of course. Herod was not an easy man, and we could not be sure of his hospitality. But we did assume that any king would be thrilled to welcome guests such as us to celebrate the arrival of his own son, especially if we had such beautiful gifts to give. Imagine our surprise when we found out there was no baby in the palace that night that we saw the star. We knew we had to look elsewhere. Everywhere we looked, it was hard to find. We kept asking. Even Herod had to look himself. He got some of his advisors to search their texts to find out where the prophecy said the Messiah would be born. I'm not sure why he did not know this himself. He obviously had not been spending time to read the scriptures. But we set out to Bethlehem. Bethlehem was another surprise. It was nothing like I expected. It was a small village, and we were even not sure where to start. There was no palace. There was even no interesting buildings. Just as all we could see was huts and, small homes. And nobody knew what we meant when we were asking where we could find the King of the Jews. Our only hope was to go back to the day when it all happened, quite a few months back, when we explained the dates and the season that we first saw the stars, and eventually we were pointed in the right direction. A couple had come to Bethlehem for the census, and they had not returned home. There were lots of fascinating stories about this couple, but when I saw them, they were certainly not impressive. Yet, the stars could not lie. The stars. This was a baby for sure that we were told about. The stars made us know that there was a baby, and we knew this was the baby. But not in such a place. It's little wonder that Herod had not been able to locate him. This family, their dwelling, their situation was very simple. And if you can believe it, they told us the night the child was born, the region was so crowded, they had to put the baby in the animal's feed trough. That's right, a newborn king in a manger. A king in a manger. Our gifts felt very opulent, yet fitting. In a humble setting such as that, we found ourselves. It was nothing impressive, but we were certain of one thing. The king we had sought to find was this baby, this king born in a manger. I know it doesn't make sense. I know. But for someone like me to be impressed by a baby like him, I worshiped him. Gladly did so. I thought about a lot of things ever since. I thought about how we almost missed the mark, thinking that King Herod's son was the great king. We were hoping to find a great king in the palace. But I also thought about Mary and Joseph. Mary and Joseph described to us about what they believed and how Jesus was a part of it. And I've thought about the star. Why did God show us, show me? I heard about the God of the Israelites. They believed only one God. And they said that this God is a God that they could talk to, a God of love. That's absurd. I know, at least I thought for once, that a God who loves his people, a God who talks to his people, a God who wants the best for his people. This is different than the gods that we are always eager to please. It's a nice idea, but it is, or at least I thought it was, their God, not mine. But I ask him, why the star was shown to us? Why the chance for us to worship him, the new king? And I wonder, is it possible that this story may include us too? I admit I cannot stop hoping that this is true. Maybe this king in the manger, this story of love, isn't just for Mary and Joseph. Maybe it's as big and bigger than the stars. Maybe it's for me. Maybe this God of love loves me too.